Good afternoon. Today is March 7th, 2026, and we are thrilled to be here at number 128 15th Street. This building has long been of interest to Friends of Wheeling, and we're thrilled that it's going to be rehabbed. So let me give you a little bit of history first, and then we'll have some other background to add to that. Wheeling City directories suggest that there was a building at this address in 1877. A date that is architecturally compatible, so we're going to stick with that. The directory from that year shows that Adam Fuchs lived and operated a grocery store at this address. According to Ohio County deed records, Fuchs purchased the property in 1883, after he was actually working here, from a special commissioner for $3,953.29 cash, which is the equivalent of about $139,000 today. The price suggests that there was a building on the property at the time. Fuchs, or his original name was Fuchs, was born in Germany and immigrated around 1860. Soon after his arrival in Wheeling, he enlisted in the 6th Virginia Infantry, which of course would have become the West Virginia Infantry, and served for nearly 4 years during the Civil War, enlisting in the Union Army on September 19, 1861, and being discharged on December 29, 1864. He later did receive a pension for his service. After purchasing 128 15th Street, he apparently lived for the rest of his life with his wife Eva and daughter Catherine on the second floor while operating a grocery downstairs. He was buried in Mount Calvary Cemetery. Early maps help a bit with the dating of the building. The 1871 city map shows an empty lot at this location. The 1884 Sanborn map did not include this part of Wheeling, so it was no help. The 1890 Sanborn map, which I have a copy of here, shows a 2-story brick building at 128 15th Street with a small frame addition and frame outbuilding at the rear. So that dates the construction somewhere between 1871 and 1890. So we'll stick with the 1877 that we had before. Fox's daughter, Catherine Fox Blockinger, and her husband Joseph inherited the property and sold it in 1922 to Louisa Russer Moore, the wife of Albert W. Moore. Albert also operated a retail grocery at this address. The 1930 census lists the value of the property as $10,000, which would be the equivalent of about $190,000 today. By 1934, the grocery was still listed at 128 15th Street, while Albert and Louisa and their 2 sons, Malcolm and Alfred, were all listed as living at 1501 Wood Street, which may be the street address for the side entrance to the upstairs. That's our guess. Following Albert Moore's death in 1940, his wife Louisa and their son Alfred continued operating the A.W. Moore grocery, apparently until her death in 1971. The 1972 to 76 city directories show Alfred Alf Moore as living on Wheeling Island and working for Schulich Taylor Company. They were wholesale tobacconists. And the building at 128 15th appears to have remained vacant for a few years. Beginning around 1977 and for the next 20 years or so, Jack's Produce and Poultry operated here. John F. Jack Werner is listed at this address. Jack and his wife live nearby at 987 McCulloch Street. In the fall of 1998, Alfred Moore and his wife Dorothy sold the property to Mound City, Inc. for $8,000. Another period of vacancy followed. Eldridge and Sharon Mayfield purchased it in May 2006, but lived a block away at 128 14th Street. Sharon Lewis is listed in city directories as living in the building from about 2003 to about 2012. In late May 2020, Jay Folsey purchased the property for $30 in unpaid taxes. About a month later, he sold it for $6,500 to Andrew Whitsett and DeKayla Williams of Weirton. At some point, the property became known as Buddy's Coffee Shop, and that's the sign on the side of the building. Eric Heinowitz purchased the building in early 2026.
Market Miners Group. Collection of us.
A collection, including Eric Heinowitz.
Right.
And plans to rehab it, and he tells me that they started work yesterday. Now, before we get some other background information, let me remind you that if you would like to support Friends of Wheeling and the work that we do, you can join us. And I know we had 3 new members recently related to Eric. Thank you very much. We also can take membership through Zephy, which is an easy way to do electronic dues. So we welcome everyone, and we're looking forward to seeing the inside of this building. And before we do that, did you want to say something?
Yeah. Thank you all so much. I'm Vincent George, one of the partners of Market Miners Group. We're really happy to be here, and I just want to say a quick word on sensitivity as we go, especially through this tour. Thank you so much, the Friends of Wheeling, for that history of the building. This building, any building, right? There's a physical location, there's a physical structure, but the real story is with the people who have used it, right? For any building, but maybe especially this building. This building, as Gene started to allude to, has had a tremendous life, but I think it's important to give a word of honor to the people who had some of their best moments in this area, and also some of the most trying, beginnings of life and the ends of life. And again, we're happy to invite you all into the neighborhood here. I've been living here for the past 10 years right around the way, and like any neighborhood, there's so much to get to know and get to appreciate, and we're so happy to have you all visiting, and I just want to convey that appreciation that I hope, even though, we're just going to be here for a few minutes, that there is so much to appreciate and to be sensitive as we go through this, and enjoy the historical aspects of the building, but also honor the people who this building has meant so much to. So thank you again.
What's your plans for the building now that you've made this?
Do you want to start Q&A?
Yeah, I got this. It's a great question. I wasn't expecting it.
No.
So to the point of sensitivity with the surrounding neighborhood, a lot of people are really interested in this building. I think it was kind of the cornerstone of the neighborhood for the good and the bad. So with that being said, the first floor is going to stay a commercial space. We're going to revitalize it. It's hopefully going to be a vibrant space, but we have some plans that we're working through right now where we don't really want to share it yet just because we don't want to overpromise and underdeliver. But rest assured, it's going to be something that the community can use and celebrate and gather here. And yeah, I think that's one of the most exciting pieces of that.
And then apartments upstairs?
1 unit upstairs, yeah. We can definitely share that. So,
and there's still some input that we want to get from some stakeholders as we finalize things. Again, retail below, housing up top, in keeping with the original use of the building, but some input before we make final decisions.
Yeah, so a little background on Vincent and myself. I moved here to Wheeling about 1.5 years ago with my wife Hillary. She's from Moundsville. Her family's all here as well. And then shortly after, we were introduced to Vincent, and my background is construction management. I'm an engineer, got into construction, and then eventually into real estate side of construction. And since moving here, we've been really inspired by the historic architecture that you see everywhere and the stories that are tied to it. So long before we moved here, Hillary and I wanted to potentially invest in property and get involved with that and kind of showcase what we can do. And then when we were introduced to Vincent, he comes from a different background. He's smarter than I am as far as education goes, but he more than anything is a great leader in the community and kind of the voice for the East Wheeling community and beyond. So with what you're able to do with kind of gathering all those voices together to get the input of what we can build here, and myself and then our other partner Jordan, who has access to capital, we figured that we can start on a project that is small enough to do without a ton of risk, but will have, if we do successfully, will be incredibly important for the community, and then set a high bar for what rebuilding in East Wheeling is, right? Because a lot of people we've found come to Wheeling, can buy a property for $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 and doesn't really think beyond that. So, we are going to be putting a considerable amount of money in it. It's not millions of dollars. It's a lot less than that. But, we think that, a couple $100,000 in a property can really create a vibrant community. So, I think that kind of answers the question there. And then through that work, I was introduced to Alexander Calvert. I'll let him kind of introduce himself, but one of the things that we recognized pretty quickly is that there's a shortage of general contractors that are able to take on this work. Like I said, I'm in the construction industry. I could do all the paperwork, all the billing, and all the project management, but you don't want me swinging a hammer unless it's demolition, and even then it's kind of scary. So I was a little lost, and then Dave Gano and Ellen Gano introduced me to Alex Calvert, who is a craftsman, and I think we really want to showcase what he's able to do and also let him introduce himself. So
go for it. Thanks, buddy. Yeah, I'm not. All right, if you haven't listened to what Eric's been saying, my name's Alexander Calvert. I'm the owner and founder of Oak Pen Construction Company. I'm the general building contractor on this job. We've already talked a lot, so while you're walking through, please be careful. We came in yesterday, we did a little bit of demolition, cleaned up real nice to make sure it was as safe as possible for you all. But there's caution tape. We're not going to go towards the basement during our tour. Caution taped over. We're going to go upstairs. We're at the main floor. There's bathrooms in the back. I have it marked off, but if you want to peek your head in, feel free. It's safe to go in there. But if you have any questions or concerns or just some ideas along the way, just holler out, ask. Please don't hold back. But besides that, we're going to get started.
Sweet. And one more thing before we hop in there. So yesterday we technically started construction. We are using historic tax credits. I'll repeat myself just in case anybody didn't hear. We started construction yesterday with selective demolition, just clearing debris and making sure that it's safe to walk through for everybody. Our schedule said that we were actually going to start on Monday, so we're ahead of schedule, and that's probably going to be
the only time
I'll ever say that. But that's not Alex's fault. It's probably going to be mine. But we are using historic tax credits, and we have an interesting model that we're going to not show yet because we want it to be successful, but we think that we might be able to repeat it. So it's really exciting, and because we're using historic tax credits, a lot of the historic elements of this building are going to be restored and celebrated. So some changes upstairs I'll go through when we get up there. It's more so just to make the space more livable, but hopefully the preservationists standing out here don't get too angry at me. And if you do, it's Vincent's fault. So. All right, so we're going to go in?
Let's go.
Cool.
I have 2 more flashlights in my truck. Should I grab them?
I think we'll be okay.
So
I'm going to do it again. I actually want to
Sure.
my house.
Should I? I'm just going to wait for everybody to file in a little bit. All right. Seems like we have most of the people in here. So first thing that you notice when you walk in, it's kind of dark despite the massive, beautiful storefront. But it's not too large of a space, which, again, the Market Miners Group, the development entity, we actually think that's a good thing. We didn't want to get in over our heads on too big of a project and, not succeed in doing what we talk about. So as far as we know, this has always been a commercial space. Most recently, it was Buddy's Coffee. What exactly that was, I don't know, but it was definitely a gathering space for the local community. There are signs that people were using a fryer in here, probably not to code. So that's pretty interesting. But the first thing that I noticed when I walked in here for the first time is there is not a lot of moisture for a vacant building. I don't think it's been occupied for probably 10 years, if not more. And usually the buildings that I walk into that are old and vacant, there is signs of water damage everywhere.
We can share a little backstory about the coffee shop. It's known locally as Sippy's, and it was operating, as recently as probably 10-ish years ago. Sippy was the owner And we'll share Sippy's obituary. It would be great to post that with this video. Again, it's a really special community space that I think, paying tribute to Sippy is something that we intend to do by giving love and attention to this building, and it would be the least we can do to share his obituary with this video.
Sure, thank you. And yes, any recent history that you have, I'm pretty good at going through old newspapers and deed records and things like that, but that doesn't tell me, the newer things.
Yeah.
There is a good bit, and there is some, I think, really important efforts to tell that more recent history, and that's something that maybe we can collaborate more on going forward. Again, we're really happy to have us all here. We just started, so this is pretty quick for us. We're not doing this alone. This whole project, back conversations that are going on, there's a lot of good people who are putting in efforts. Like Jeremy Alexander of the East Wheeling Co-op. And I think that project of telling the story of this space and some of the other spaces in this neighborhood is worth doing, but it's worth doing well. So we want to respect that.
Yeah, so great question. So I'll kind of go into the technical aspects of what we're going to do in here. So you're spot on. There's 2 windows. The other one, I believe, is right behind that metal thing hanging on the wall. We're going to open that up and bring more light in here. I think I saw Kim somewhere floating around. So we're working with Kim to help restore those windows, which is going to be incredibly exciting. And then we're going to do the rest of the windows as well. Yeah.
There are 2 that you cannot see.
Yeah. So that's as far as the windows go. You could tell that this building's been vacant for a long time, but for me, who's been crawling through old buildings for a while now, this is in really good shape. The flooring we're going to rip up, and you can see over by that vent grate back there that the original flooring is still there. It's we're hopeful that the rest of it is in as good of condition as that is. And when you walk in here in its future use, you're going to be met with some of the historic character that this once had, but with a little bit more of a modern vibe, I guess. It's just going to be light and airy and really fun to come in here and explore, history as you walk through it. And before I get into more technical stuff, I think one of our other partners in this project is Jeremy, so I think it probably makes sense for you to introduce yourself a bit.
Yes, thank you. My name is Jeremy Alexander. I'm the executive director of East Wheeling Cooperative, and part of our mission here is to the revitalization of East Wheeling. I'm a long-term East Wheeling resident. For most of us, this place was a place that we gathered a lot. A lot of memories were shared here also with the other project they have at the Legion. So this is a great thing for us to be a part of, and we're happy to be a part of this. And we couldn't have better partners than these 2 guys right here. So I appreciate being here.
And someone asked about Sippy's and the grocery store.
Yes. I'm sorry. Yes. So at one point in time, this was a grocery store. We can come here, get our groceries, and then being in this area, sometimes we couldn't make the grocery bill, right? And Jack, it was Jack's Corner. Jack would let us actually come in here and get credit before credit cards was an actual thing, right? So that fed a lot of families, it helped a lot of families out at that time. Jack passed away. Nobody came in and took over it as a grocery store. So Sippy, he turned it into a coffee shop, and it kept on with the legacy of just bringing the community together, having a place where they could hang out. Community, and just the community vibe here was just so prevalent, and there could be numbers and numbers of people every single day coming to get ice cream, sodas,
I was
a
thinking
bite
I
to
have
eat.
a shared with the Clay School.
Yeah, absolutely.
A shared history with that.
Yeah, it had a shared history with Clay School. You come there after school. Our bus stop would just come out right here. Then we had the Elks Playground. So all that was like intertwined together. And we always supported and went to Nillie's and convened. Everybody had their own special thing that they gave to us in the community. But this right here was like the place to gather here, the Laughlin Chapel. There's a few other places, but this is like the center and the heart pretty much at East Willing right here.
All right, shall we proceed?
Yeah, let's proceed. Thank you. So we are soon to be getting our electrician in here to get lights on. So as you kind of meander back here, you'll notice it gets pretty dark. But when we get upstairs, there's a ton of windows. Just be careful coming up the stairs. But before you do, there's 2 commercial bathrooms back there. Nothing too special. Jeremy, have you been in here recently?
No.
Oh, this is exciting.
It's been a long time since I've been here.
So as you come up the steps, you have the option of going left and right. And I'll say this before everybody else gets up here, but future use, that bathroom is going to be walled off. So when you come up, you'll actually just only be able to turn right to where we're standing. And we'll have an actual landing right here with your fire door to enter this apartment unit right here. This door will stay, but it will be permanently locked.
Nice transom still here.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think we can all gather in here, and there's enough space. Everybody just be careful when you come up here. Some of the floorboards are a little wonky. You're not going to fall through, but it is a trip hazard. So if you look at the footprint of the building, it's only about 800 square feet per floor, which for modern apartments is actually pretty common. But for historic apartments, I don't know. Gene, maybe you could tell me, but I don't know. It's pretty small and tight, but you look at the layout with the different compartmentalized rooms. I think it's pretty common for when this was built. For today's use, we don't feel that is probably best case. So what we really want to do, again, don't kill me when I say this, but we're really trying to keep the historic character as much as we can, and we will, because we have to use tax credits for this. But we also want to make it a more modern quality housing unit so that somebody can wake up in here and feel really good about where they are, right? So what that means for us is not to make too much of an open floor plan, but to make it so that we can have everybody in this room like we do now without feeling cramped. Is we are going to remove part of this wall. We are going to save all the trims and the transoms. We're not throwing them away. And then we are also going to remove this wall as well. So you'll have a big open floor space here. Our kitchen is actually going to stay in the same place that it is, but opening up this wall creates a big difference, allows more light to come into the full space. That's right. So you will have an actually decent sized kitchen there. It'll have all the modern amenities that a kitchen needs. And it's just going to be really nice to be able to flow right between your kitchen, your eating space, and then your living room space. We are going to put a washer dryer right around where you're standing, right there. And then this closet here gives you access to the attic, which we will keep the access to the closet, but not the attic for the tenant. So feel free to open it. It's actually very cool in there. I'll shine a light.
Is the tax credit mostly the outside? You have to keep looking.
Most of it is going to be used for the outside.
Because inside, I think you have a little more leeway. Just
Yeah.
so you can see.
Yeah. So the State Historic Preservation Office, who oversees the tax credit process on behalf of the National Park Service, they care mostly about the facade, and even more about the windows, the doors, and the sight lines from the street. So if you have windows in the back that you can't necessarily see from the street, you can get away without fully restoring them to their historic profile. Here, because we're on the corner, all the windows need to be restored properly. So we are working with Kim on that, which is really exciting. So yeah, this space. Again, it's really small, so there's not too much to see. But we, again, started yesterday. We'll be back here on Monday with Alex, and we will be continuing to clear this out while we work with our architect to submit drawings to the National Park Service for approval of Part 1 and Part 2, which will allow us to then, come in here and actually do some work.
And the advantage of using, well, the disadvantage of tax credits is that you have to comply with all the guidelines, but the advantage is that you have both state and federal tax credits.
Yeah.
State at 25% and federal at 20%, which can really make a project financially doable.
Yeah, so a little background on that. So the rule of thumb that I use, if you're using historic tax credits, kind of to what you were saying, is for 45 cents of every dollar can be syndicated in to tax credits. So what you do with those tax credits as the owner, you can use them yourself, or you can sell them off. We have an interesting approach to that, where hopefully when we sell them, we are not losing that value. We're probably going to be able to sell it for a little bit more than what those tax credits are worth, or around the same. So we're hopeful to get a cash investment on top of what we already have, because we already have most of the money there. Anything on top of this will make it so that Vincent and I don't lose our shirts on this project. It's not a project to make a lot of money. It's really to help build the community here.
And I assume you will keep this beautiful mantle?
Yep. So we're going to keep all the mantles. There's 3 fireplaces here, one in the kitchen. That's exactly like this. And then one in the back bedroom, which we can all move to in a bit. And if anybody that's watching or anybody that's in the room interested in doing a historic tax credit process, I have a company. It's called 11 Build. I'm a construction manager, but I also have experience with, funding sources that are like the non-traditional, whether they're grants, historic tax credits, and I can kind of help you tie it together and then tie you with the right contractor, which almost every time I'm going to say it's Alex, and we'll manage that project for you. So
yeah, it seems rather daunting for people who haven't done that.
Yep.
So it's nice to have some local person
Yeah.
who can assist with that.
Yeah, it's my career has been built off of doing this type of work. Started in New York City and eventually made it here. So
yeah, and so if anyone wants to reach Eric, you can go through Friends of Wheeling and we can put you in touch with him, or we'll figure out something.
Yeah, and one of the most exciting part of that process is helping you figure out if the project is actually feasible for you. Because, like I said before, a building might cost $20,000. It might look great, but it might not be the right fit for you. And it's probably better off that you don't buy it and let the right person buy it so it can be saved, and then we'll help you find a different property for you. Yeah.
And there are plenty of opportunities in Wheeling.
There's so many opportunities. It's exciting.
Flooring here, was this the original, the bigger?
Probably subfloor.
So everything that's missing here, it was bubbling up when we ripped it out yesterday, and we noticed that the underside of the plank is stamped, and it looks like it was probably maybe right around World War II. So I think that this might actually be the original. I could be wrong, but
Usually see the wider planks on
Yeah.
the upstairs floor.
yeah. So we think, and we are going to try to, because most of the flooring is in good condition, we're just going to replace what is damaged and then refinish. So no, there's not actually. You can actually see right over there. It's just plaster, and it's kind of crumbling. We are going to take all the drop ceiling out and then create a small drop just so we can run electric. We can run it through the attic, but it's kind of dicey up there, so we're just going to keep it in probably a 4-inch drop. So we're going to have really tall ceilings in here. They're already tall, and I think they're about 12. Alex, what's the height of the ceiling? 12 foot? Yeah, it's massive. So the person that's lucky enough to live in here after is going to have an open space, massive ceilings, and hopefully their electric bill isn't going to be too crazy because we're going to have mini splits on the walls. So we're going to insulate the attic as well. Actually, sorry, Alex. When I say we, Alex is doing all the work.
You're the man.
Yeah, sure.
So just so anybody who didn't hear, when you come up to the top of the steps, the landing's going to be here. Your front entry into the apartment will be right where I'm standing. And that's just to create fire separation from downstairs.
Try not to get in that.
Tori's coming in here. So when you walk into the front room, this is probably like the most inspiring because it is almost, besides some paint and refinishing the floor, it's almost exactly what we want it to look like in the future. This is going to be a bedroom. We'll probably throw a little closet in here, and it's a great space. So yeah, Alex is probably pretty happy when he walks in here because.
So this room?
Yeah.
This room's wonderful. I see. The only reason I like the other rooms more is because they have more work. But this one's the best because you're going to be able to see half of this room here across the street. So, knowing this room, when we first walked in this room, this was the best representation of what was here before everything went dilapidated.
And what will be here.
And what will be. Yeah, because not much is changing. We're not going too crazy. We're meeting the historic standard for the time for what this was used for. So, although it may not have so many different kind of profiles and crown moldings and things of that nature, what you see here now is exactly what it was before that faux finish was put on. So it has been untouched for decades. We're planning at least this room to be a staple. This is a great example for what you guys can look at. Yeah. No, it's wonderful. This is by far the best room, and by far the front is much more well.
This one.
This will be beautiful. Yeah.
Yes.
There's some areas actually in the kitchen, if you haven't walked over there yet, where we pulled the stove away yesterday. And
Yes.
it's pretty damn close to what we want it to look like. It's really exciting. What else can I tell you about this room? There's not much. We found out when we were walking through here with Kim the other day that there was some additional mullions that you don't see on the windows. So
Yes.
that's going to be really cool. And we're going to save all the hardware that you see there. These are the most exciting parts of the building for me.
Oh yeah, the windows and the doors are going to be by far one of the best portions of it, just because they'll be
You
different.
get an architectural feature from the outside, the arch,
Yes.
windows and stuff here.
Yeah, and everything's going to be redone
Yeah,
and
they do.
handmade.
They really
So
do.
everything will be put together piece by piece if it needs to be reassembled and redone. So it'll be exactly what it wasn't supposed to be when it was originally put together, which is going to be cool.
Yeah. And when you look out the window, you see the building on the corner. I understand that somebody just bought it from the city, so if that guy's watching, give me a call. All right. So that's really most of the building, guys.
All right.
One thing that I will say is when you go back down the stairs, if you look up to the right, there's a big bite taken out of the building. The neighboring property, the city demolished the day that we closed on this, and they did a really bad job. Not the city, but the contractor. Yeah. So, but they were nice enough to allow Vincent to go up in the bucket to put some tarps up there. So, not bad people, just didn't do a great job. But it happens.
All right, let's go down and walk around the building.
I would put it in as like, it's an EQ so if you can start me over. Yeah, let's 820. Actually, let me give you my room number. Sure.
It's in pretty great shape, isn't it?
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah, you will text me, that's perfect. And I'll text you back the link.
Just so it doesn't go to spam, what's your?
She's starting work. She has her tools. She's gonna
Look at that.
I do have my tools, they're in my car, I don't want to work for anybody else.
Oh, that's a good
Here's our contact information for 11 Build Construction Management and Oak and Pen, which is Alex's general contracting. We exclusively work together. We complement each other in our skill set. So I'm in the office. He's on site. So if you ever need us, give us a call.
Okay. So there had been a building here.
Yep. So we bought this building in December. I was visiting family in New Jersey, and I got a frantic call from Vincent saying that they're demolishing this building, and there's also two buildings behind it. We are planning on hopefully acquiring this lot to make it something nice. Again, I won't go too much into it.
Yeah.
But we are in talks with the city to make that happen.
Okay.
So-
And around the other side.
Yep.
And of course, the location right next to the soccer field
Yeah,
is a good one.
It's a great location. We really want to make sure that we are creating vibrancy in this neighborhood. So we couldn't ask for a better location. Here are the two windows that you cannot see from the inside on the first floor right now, but we will open those up and we will recreate the windows that you see up there. We are going to be rebuilding this ramp here. It's an ADA entrance into the commercial space, but will also be access for the tenants into their apartment upstairs. And it looks like there was an old transom up there as well, so I'm excited to see what the historic records show on that, because we will have to recreate it. And when you're looking at this building, you could see it's been raining here, so you can see that the gutter systems have actually been pretty successful. So when you go into the basement, which right now is just filled to the brim with trash, you don't smell any moisture, which is amazing. And then back here, more of the historic windows, both missing and partially intact, and yeah, it'll all be restored.
Nice little back porch.
Nice little back porch.
And then another vacant lot.
Another vacant lot. So when the neighboring building was demolished, these two came down right after that, and we are hopeful that we can work with the city to make something happen here.
All right, Eric, thank you very much. We appreciate this.
Yeah.
Again, this is Friends of Wheeling Tour. My name is Jean Finstein. Joanne Sullivan was behind the camera at the beginning, and we appreciate your watching us, and we will sign off for now.
Thank you.